sites. As you saw, do you want to translate, Dr. Mustafa, or you want me to present and you present?
Okay, just Dr. Toben, I hope to complete your conversation or your presentation. Then I'll record my notes here. Then I'll give a translation.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So this is what 152 meters looks like using the most accurate digital elevation model. And so you can see that we've marked the zigora. The zigora is above the normal level of the dam at 152 meters. Now, we should talk to our technical team from the water ministry, because actually in emergency, the water will go higher than 152. But it's expected when the dam is full that it will be 152 meters. And you can see what happens at 152 is places like the Bita Kitu are underwater. Places like the southern city are badly affected. But the Tabira Gate and Ashur Ziggurat are high enough that they will be surrounded by water, but not underwater. So what we should observe here is roughly half of Shergat city and all of Sedera will be underwater. Depends how you measure, but a large part of the local community will have to be moved. So this is just a close-up of Ashur and the flooding that will happen because of the dam. And we see that damage to the low areas will be complete and damage to the South City is maybe 25%, but the high mound is less. That means only the Walter Andre Palace, only the lower parts of the site will be submerged, but the upper part will be still affected by the water level being so high. Now, I'm supposed to talk about Assyria, and so we can say that the most famous Middle Assyrian city outside of Ashur is Kartukulti-Ninota, which will be almost completely underwater, except for just the tops of the zigora. There's a couple of small zigora at Kartukulti-Ninota. So you might see a couple of small hills from the temples of Kartukulti-Ninota, but like Sedera, the main site, the palaces, the city will be underwater. So this is an image of 152, which is the normal level of the dam. If the dam goes to higher in an emergency, obviously all of Kartukulti-Ninota is underwater for the emergency. I wanted to, the technicians know more than me, but I wanted to highlight that even at 149, Kartukulti-Ninota is underwater. So it is significantly lower than Ashur because it is not built on a hill. So it's not built up on a high place. So you can see this green is 149 and the blue and the yellow is anything even lower than that. So most of Kartukulti-Ninota will be underwater at 149. My job is to explain what Assyrian sites will be affected, but the answer is we don't know. We don't have enough information about the archaeology, the cultural heritage of this region. And there's two reasons for that. One is the original surveys were traditional ground-based surveys. And as good as they are, it's hard to do everything from the ground. And so we have very good preliminary reports about the heritage that will be affected that found its way into UNESCO report. But we know when you use the latest technology, the satellite images, the aerial survey, and you back that up with years, potentially 3 to 5 years of ground survey, that you'll find an enormous number of sites. And my guess, based on Erbil Plain, where there is 690 sites, and on Suleimani province, where there's 790 sites, and these are only really the sites in Rania and near to the Tasluja River, near the river in Sharazor. My guess is we're going to find 10 times the number of sites in that UNESCO report, that we'll find somewhere between 600 and 1,000 sites. And the reason I say that is when you look closely at the digital elevation model, even very low sites become visible sometimes. So these are almost invisible to someone walking. They're very low. They don't create a big mount. So we can expect hundreds of those. We can expect many, many more Assyrian sites to be documented if we use the latest technology and we work together on the ground. But the project is so big to make a very systematic documentation of the cultural heritage will take 5 years. And we must use as many technology tools as we can. And so I like to say that we're going to automate the survey because especially something like aerial survey, we can use a drone. Geophysics, we can use a drone. The ground survey, we still need good people. We still need the team from the State Board, from the universities, working together to document the pottery and the damage. But our goal is to document all 1,000 sites, a 3D survey, a ground-based survey, and then to document as many sites as possible using geophysics. And why do I say geophysics? Is we don't have the same budget as we had before to, there was almost 24 or more major excavations. We don't have the time or the money to do 24 excavations. And if we did, there's still 950 sites left undocumented. We need to use technology and we need to work together to document as many as possible. So I only had a few minutes. This was supposed to be a short presentation. I just want to finish by thanking the Ministry of Culture and the Minister, Hassan Nadham, the State Board of Archaeology and Heritage, and Dr. Laith. The Australian Direct Aid Program was the first to fund new work at Ashur, and Alif helped fund some emergency work at the Tabira Gates. And I'd like to thank Dr. Khalil Jabori and all the organizers of this conference. And there's so many people throughout the years that have helped us. So I look forward to working together with all of you for many years to come. There is my email, Dr. Toben Hardtnell, American University of Iraq, Suleimani. I'm here to work on Mahul Dam until the water comes and the last archaeology site is underwater. So this is a big project for everyone. We have to capture as much information about the cultural heritage as possible before the dam